Okay. While we are waiting, what he wrote is if the projected shipping period is exceeded significantly, such that the product quality has deteriorated at point of delivery, are there options for a recovery of loss mitigation? Are there options for a recovery or loss mitigation? Madam Titi, are you there? You're mute. Unmute yourself. Okay.
All right. So I think this is where the issue of risks come in. So from shipping a product from Nigeria to Canada, for example, it's important that while you and the buyer have this conversation, you also highlight the risk, all the necessary things that might even go wrong. Is very key. And as you highlight them, you have to agree on how are you going to mitigate this, number one. And I think the mitigation is where the issue really lies. The mitigation is where the issue really lies, because once you discuss it with your buyer, okay, fine, the issue of the shipment might go wrong. Oh, well, so what happens in that case? That could influence maybe your kind of packaging, perhaps, it's possible. And of course, you might also want to tell the buyer that whatever situation, however my cargo arrives, I still want my 100% payment. You might even decide to get your upfront payment for the person before you send it. And then you agree with each other that whatever way it comes in, you have to accept it. But I think both parties need to bear, we just need to bear, the issue at hand. Either I refund a part or I refund a part. But really, if you ask me, Sha, if you look through the risk critically, both of us, and we've looked at it, it's important to mitigate it before it even happens. And if you have agreed on how you want to mitigate it, and still, if this goes wrong, then the offending party, there must be something in your clause that dictates what will happen in the aftermath of that happening. So you need to discuss that issue. You just have to discuss that issue. Now, I've seen that in agreements, in regular agreements, you say, I think in natural agreements as well, you see where it's written that this particular so ceases to be in effect when so happens. In some cases, there are clauses where if this should go wrong, then party A would refund so to party B. So you guys must, I think you must decide, you must agree on how you're going to take care of any risk that comes up. So that's a discussion that must be had between the buyer and the seller, especially because you've counted that risk originally. You have counted it upfront and you know that it might happen. Then we need to start seeing how we can mitigate it. And should it happen for some reasons beyond your control, maybe insurance, some of us have insurance in place. Insurance might need to pay the value of that product if the product is totally damaged and it cannot be used. So you also need to see how you can edge those risks. It's very key that you do so. It's just important. Either you agree on how you're going to edge it between yourselves, or you find maybe an insurance company, a third party that can take on that loss that has happened between the two of you. But you need to discuss it and agree on what that will be and how you're going to edge the risk should they arise.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, Lady K.
Yes, sir.
Let me just add is it a caveat now or just an addition to what Titi has said?
Okay.
In international trade, you have clauses that actually foresee the possibility of a risk. And that is where the arbitration clauses come in. Where do this happen? Is it in the, if there was an arbitration, for example, will it be in the exporter's country or will it be in the buyer's country? These are the details. And that's the reason why we said everything that Titi has said today. That's why it is titled Tips. For each of those points that she has rushed through on a bullet point basis, there is actually more homework to be done. Homework by the intending player in the international space. That's the one part of it. The second answer, part of the answer that I would like to give is that countries use policy to support export. Some of these policies and strategies, actually, policies and strategies, some of these include answers to risk mitigation. So you have export credits, for example, export risk management scheme, you have export credit scheme, you have export price adjustment scheme. And in Nigeria, we had 18 incentives that were supposed to address the potential pitfalls in export. Of all of this, we had one that was working, the Export Expansion Grant, which was supposed to help customers in case they fell short of the projections in international trade. So the talking trade with Olufemi Boyede actually intends, as we go on, we've taken today, what should the entrepreneur do? That's what you have learned today. Subsequently, we will also be talking about what should governments do in order to support their exporters. Just to remind us, about 5-6 weeks, or about 6-7 weeks ago, there was a go slow on the international water. I wanted to put it in that light way to make it humorous, but there was heavy traffic because one ship stalled on the Suez Canal. And this caused a delay of movement for almost 10 or was it 11 days. And to clear the backlog, it took almost 4 weeks. So in that kind of situation, is it force majeure? Whether it is force majeure or it is something mechanical, somebody has got to pay. And this is where marine insurance comes in. So risks are there, they are foreseeable, they actually will happen. What is the risk that I will not wake up tomorrow? What do I do to mitigate it? I think these are some of the things that Engineer Oluokere intended when I don't know if he's there, if he still wants to ask it in another elaborate way, but I don't know again whether I'm jumping the gun, but I believe that at some point in the very near future, you will also be having Engineer Oluokere on this platform who will be telling us some of those things that how the governments of America, especially in his state of Atlanta, how they address this, what are the small business support things that actually help MSMEs to address some of these concerns.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.